number 4 is failure to max out retirement. I'll let you run with that one.
Sure. So, when you work for a company and you're provided with the 401k, the IRS has their limits in terms of how much you can contribute. And just so happens it's around 19,000, or it is 19,000, now. But when you're the business owner, a lot of times you want to be putting more money away into retirement than that 19,000. And so when it comes to structuring your plan, there's different ways where you can get to much higher limits than the $19,000 limit. Whether it is using a SEP IRA, which allows you to go all the way up to $56,000. Same thing with a solo 401k. Or you do some sort of, if there's a couple of highly compensated people in the business, you can do a 401k, but with a profit sharing plan on top. And so you as a business owner can still put away more than the rest of the employees without, as we, right from the beginning, we talked about discrimination. You can kind of avoid those discrimination issues if you have these plans set up correctly. And there's a lot of other things you do too. You can do cash balance plans, and I don't want to get too technical. We get an entire other conversation on the different retirement funding strategies for the business owner. But I think the big takeaway should be is that you're not limited to just the $19,000 that most people think they are. Or if you are in business for yourself and you don't have a 401k set up and you don't have employees, many times people say, "Oh, I'm putting money into my IRA." Well, a regular IRA, because it does about a third of what a 401k could even do in terms of retirement contributions. So, you don't want to be pigeonholing yourself, or, a lot of times it's just due to lack of education about what options are available out there in terms of retirement funding vehicles for yourself.
Well, can you mention discriminatory, non-discriminatory, and where the distinction is and maybe where the opportunities are as well?
I'll really explain it as a concept. I don't want to get too much into the weeds in terms of the numbers, but there's discrimination rules with qualified plans, in particular with 401k, where if you have employees, there's only a certain amount you can contribute based on the amount that they're contributing. So if your rank and file employees aren't taking advantage of the 401k, even though you may be able to put legally up to 19,000, if there were no these non-discriminatory rules, you can severely be limited and end up contributing a lot less than that if your employees are not contributing or taking advantage of the plan.
Can I say that differently?
You absolutely can.
Because my understanding is that you have a SEP, for example, which is an employer-sponsored traditional IRA. We should get into IRAs in another video too, like all the different ways of doing them. But if you have an employer sponsored IRA, what's it called? Small self-employed pension?
Pension, yeah.
Got it. So if you have a small pension, small SEP IRA with your business, and say I pay myself 20% of my salary, which I believe is under the max, I have to, by law, give 20% of the salary of my employees to them as well.
Correct. That's the
way I say it, right?
And most times, I don't really see too many times where if there are multiple employees that the SEP is the actual arrangement, because of exactly what you said. You have to, by law, give the same amount to the employees. And that's typically where we'll get into other planning arrangements other than a SEP. Usually when it gets more than one or two employees, because you don't want to be most times putting 20% into other people's retirement.
Well, let me give myself a little prop, a little plug here. With our firm, we take care of our people. We really believe in people, and the people on our team. Our biggest asset is our staff and our people, and how we handle our customers. And I want to make sure our team is taken care of. And so we do a SEP, and we make sure that what I pay myself, I pay them, and that's understanding those rules is very important. They're complicated rules, I must say.
Most, Gary.
What's that?
You're a better man than most.
Haimo. Hey.